What's up, guys? We're back here at the shop. Something else that I kind of wish I had filmed before I started thinking about doing the YouTube channel thing, as I was making this Y right here, because the new setup's going to be a twin turbo setup. So obviously I have to go from dual 4-inch into a 5-inch throttle body. And so anyway, I had some of this leftover scrap and I was like, well, let me practice on it. But it actually came out semi-decent. So I was thinking, well, if it comes out decent, the rest of it, then I might just actually use this one. So what I did was, just to kind of give you a rundown of what I did, is I kind of laid it out on the table here, got the angles that I thought that I wanted, and then marked them, and then drew another line going across, and then kind of measured the angles, and then did the reverse on this side here. So cut these two pieces of pipe and then kind of fit them up to where they would actually fit together. And I got a little hot in some of those areas. Again, my welding is just now kind of starting to come around, and this is not what, if I was doing this for a living, I wouldn't send this out probably. But anyway, so that's the way I got that put together. And then took this, put it inside this piece of 5-inch, and then took it to the press and just kind of pressed it down until it fit around it the way it needs to. And it fits in there pretty good once you kind of stuff it down in there. And then it's like a sweet spot there. Then marked it, and then what I'll do is I'll come in here and cut this probably somewhere in the general area of leaving about, I don't know, an 1/8 or maybe a 1/16 inch of hangover there, so that it'll actually sit up in here. And then I'll come around and tack it, and come around and tack it in place, and then get to laying a bead all the way around it. So I will set all that up, and I'll give you the rundown and see what it looks like here in a little bit. All right, so I got a thing mocked up here in the vise. Just use a piece of angle iron and some of these handy channel lock things that are vice grip deals that kind of self-tension down on a piece of angle iron. And then I got this kind of propped up against the corner there, so when I lay the bandsaw on here, it'll won't try to move on me. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a shot with a bandsaw. I'm kind of bandsaw illiterate sometimes, but I'll go back in there and clean up whatever doesn't come out perfectly, and we'll see how that comes out. Like I said, this is a practice piece if worst case scenario. Wasn't too bad. Surprised I got that on the first time. So what I'll do, I mean, obviously you can see that the cut's not perfectly straight. So I'll get in there and kind of clean that up a little bit. And then of course I got to clean up the aluminum itself. The one thing that, in learning to weld and just listening to all these other people that have all their welding channels, the biggest thing is obviously cleanliness of the material seems to make the hugest difference. So if anybody was just starting out doing this, don't shortcut the cleaning process, because I can tell you from experience that that seemed to be one of the biggest things that I changed that helped me start welding a little bit cleaner. And again, I'm in no way a professional by any means at this point, but it's gotten better, and a lot of that is due to not fighting the dirtiness of the material. So let me get all this mocked up. I'm gonna clean up the ends here. I'll use some emery cloth, and then probably a wire brush, and then some acetone. I put acetone in a little spray bottle there. Wipe it down with a clean paper towel, and then we'll go set the welder up to AC and get over here. I gotta change out the cup and get rid of the gas lens and put a regular, just number 8 or number 6 cup on it, and then get to welding. So I'll let me do that real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, let's see. I just kind of hit them with some 120 grit, and then went back over it with a wire wheel, or sorry, a wire brush. Excuse me. So now I'm just going to hit them with some acetone. I always underestimated the importance of this part until I started doing the cage and really started ensuring that my weld joints were clean on the cage. And I was like, wow, this actually does make a difference. I guess that's why all these professionals who do these welding channels harp on it. So I figured they were onto something and started doing it myself. And, well, lo and behold, these professional welders know what they're talking about. So okay, so let's go about Mikey Yay. So I'll go in there and put some tacks on it. Let's see, get rid of this big 12 gas cup here, gas lines. Okay, let's see, come over here, turn on the machine. What do we got for amperage here? Oh yeah, 140, that's probably plenty. Yeah, good. 130. I'm gonna control with the pedal anyway. Switch it over to AC. Turn the bottle on. The one thing with aluminum is it doesn't need quite the gas coverage, and I'm trying to remember who it was that said, but they turned their gas down to about, I don't know, somewhere in the area of 15 CFH, and it seemed to make for a little bit better weld. So this aluminum is, I think it's 16 gauge, maybe 14, maybe it was 16, I don't remember. Anyway, that's what a lot of the cold side used to be done in. And then this is 11 gauge. That's that heavier wall stuff that I was using on my downpipe before. This is, again, leftover piece. And it's, yeah, like I said, it's a little bit rough. Some wire here. It's a little bit rough, so if it doesn't come out good, then I'll make another one. They make these billet ones. Several people make them. Donnie Street Car Fab, Race Part Solutions, they all make these billet ones. They're super nice. I just, man, with the amount of money you spend on everything else, I just have a hard time shelling out $300 for that one, just that one piece right there. Not that it's not worth it. I just, you know, I was like, well, let me see if I can make something that'll work. And then let's see here. And you notice I'm cleaning the rods as well, because the rod, believe it or not, will have a ton of junk on them. So yeah. So anyway, I was like, well, let me just. I mean, I need to practice some welding anyway, so I'll just try to see if I can make something. So, just kind of gives you an idea of how dirty the rods get. So, let's see here. Trying to see where I'm going to put my first tacks. Let's do it. These what do you call them? TIG fingers from Weldmager. They're almost a must, especially when doing aluminum, because it gets so hot. So I'll show you the good, bad, and the ugly. Good, bad, and the ugly. If this thing comes out like crap, you'll see it. If it doesn't, cool, it's even better. Oh, look at that. Nothing like sticking the aluminum in your tungsten. See that nice pretty black mark there? I hate when that happens. Okay. Well, let me finish tacking it and then I'll clean it all off. Not hard doing this freehand here. Again. Probably stick the rod in the tungsten no less than 4 or 5 times during this whole ordeal. That is what it is. Make an adjustment here. Get pulled. Can feel it. Alright. Hold on. I'll pop this last tack loose and see if I can't rotate it a little bit. This is not working out for me. Part of my problem is not being stable. I'm gonna screw the tungsten up again. There's a problem. It tries to move around on you. so disappointed with the way that that weld came out. I kind of ground some of it down and then just went back over it. It still doesn't look very good. I wanted to practice anyway because apparently I do need it. I've welded very few aluminum things. Most of my limited experiences with steel or chromoly. So anyway, it came out a little bit better. I'm still really learning how to control the heat, because if you don't get it hot enough, then it kind of makes a floppy mess, and then if you get it too hot, it wants to start falling through. So I'm having to really get a little bit better at controlling the heat and watching the puddle and stuff like that. So anyway, I thought I'd add that real quick, and now I'm really going home for the day. Thanks. Comment, like, and subscribe if you want to see more. If people don't seem interested, then because it takes time to film, so if people don't seem interested, then I just won't bother y'all with all my mess here. So till the next time.